So to wrap up the stablecoin lecture, we're gonna look at the risks and the instabilities of stablecoins more broadly speaking. So the stablecoin ecosystem overview here, as you have seen before, really shows many different types of stablecoin designs, and we're experiencing crashes and instabilities and depacks, so to speak, in all of them. Some are more severe than others, but we're gonna just briefly discuss the types of risks for stablecoins that exist. So the very first risk that we would like to discuss today are systemic risks. So systemic risk, for instance, occur if the reserve asset, for instance, the native currency from Ethereum, ETH, is unstable, right? Which may then cause liquidation spirals. So what we have seen often is if there's a liquidation event, the liquidator liquidates the position, receives the collateral, and sells the collateral immediately. And if this happens repeatedly, then this causes spirals, meaning that the value of the collateral decreases and decreases because the liquidators are just constantly selling the collateral. Similarly, we have external risks, so we may have a loss of trust if the community is putting a specific trust in individuals that are running some of these projects or that have started some of these projects. There are also speculative attacks where traders may try to bring down a stablecoin on purpose by making significant trades that try to destabilize a stablecoin, which may cause liquidation spirals or a more broader sell-off of the community holders. And naturally, there are a lot of technical risks. The price oracles must be secure and not manipulable. There is minor blockchain extractable value. There are smart contracts, bugs, and security issues that may happen as well. So, and all of these are really elements of risks for stablecoins. What I don't mention here is, for example, also the security of the underlying blockchain. I mean, the blockchain could fork or have reorganizations or be slower in terms of latency. So there really are a tremendous amount of security and stability issues, and all of them must be mitigated for a stablecoin to remain stable. So security, in essence, is only as strong as the weakest link in a chain. So what we've seen is reserve-based stablecoins really rely on trust. And this means we trust the centralized entity and the banks behind to have everything collateralized. So if things are based on trust and we can trust this entity, then everything is fine. The moment, however, that somebody gets blacklisted, or for example that a pool gets blacklisted on Curve or any other AMM like Uniswap, that may trigger more issues in the broader systemic DeFi ecosystem. So once assets are locked, they really cannot be used otherwise, right? And once they're blacklisted or even destroyed, it gets even worse. So we have seen the sanctions from OFAC, from the US sanctions on Tornado Cash smart contracts. So that's an example where such reserve-based stablecoins may also need to engage in censoring or blacklisting coins. So some of the risk in crypto-backed stablecoins are certainly liquidation spirals. Right, as we mentioned before, if the Ether price experiences a sudden drop, for example, above 40%, then this may trigger many liquidations in DAI. And what's so peculiar about these liquidations is not only that the liquidators will then immediately sell the collateralize, further dropping the collateral value and making more debt positions unhealthy. The more broader concern is that this triggers this liquidation frenzy triggers blockchain congestion. And blockchain congestion means that the transaction fees are growing more than usual and may exceed the custom thresholds that some of the liquidation bots are abiding by. And hence, we've seen here in March 2020 that keepers, which are MakerDAO liquidation bots, were effectively defaulting. They were not operating anymore. So it was possible to buy Ether for $0 at the time. So some of the liquidators then manually realized these liquidation bots are no longer working. I can just bid $0 for the collateral, and they receive the collateral that way. So certainly this was a shock to the MakerDAO community, and they have improved their liquidation mechanism significantly since then, such that such events do not occur any longer. What we've also seen are speculative attacks. So it's still to be discussed or maybe investigated further whether this was the case for UST. It may very well be. But for example, here for the Iron Finance protocol, so which is a 2-token mechanism, we have Titan, which is a non-stable coin, and we have Iron, which is a stable coin, where USDC is used as a collateral. So the way that this Iron Finance operates is that if the stablecoin Iron is worth less than $1, then anyone can redeem for $1 worth of Iron of value the USDC Titan combination. And if the Iron stablecoin is worth more than $1, then anyone can mint Iron tokens for $1 worth of USDC Titan combination. It's quite similar to the other algorithmic stablecoin Frax that we have looked at earlier. So this is in essence a partially collateralized stablecoins, right? So it's quite similar to Frax, but it was attacked in a speculative attack. And what happened is that there was a first major sell-off by some wealthy individuals, and it seems that the price of Titan then somehow recovered. But then there was a second sell-off, and the price declines sharply of Titan, and this caused Iron, the stablecoin, then to lose its peg. What was quite interesting, I believe, in the speculative attack is that there was a certain lack of the oracle, right? So we have this oracle that determines the collateralization ratio, right, between USDC and Titan. And what we have seen here is that the time-weighted average price of the oracle was 10 minutes. So it took 10 minutes to determine the collateralization ratio between USDC and Titan. And that's not really that fast. And apparently it wasn't fast enough for the volatility that this Iron Finance was experiencing at the time. So users were effectively able to buy tokens for 90 cents, US dollar cents, and then they were able to redeem them for 75 plus 25 cents of USDC and Titan respectively, right? These two coins that are partially collateralizing Iron Finance. And this caused a spiral and hence a bank run, right? So it's quite similar to how UST lost its peg, just that UST didn't have any partial collateralization. So in essence, it was supposed to be even worse. Another example of loss of trust where one of the founders of a protocol, MIM in this particular case here, apparently also was the founder of another protocol, Time, and apparently this Time founder was a convicted felon. So there may have been a loss of trust in the person or the entity behind a particular protocol. So this is definitely not any technical specificity, but you can see how the entire ecosystem depends on whether a stablecoin can be stable or not. And when this news broke, apparently there were quite a lot of liquidations, and this then caused a depeg of this particular coin. So why is it important overall to analyze failure in detail? Well, we want to learn from mistakes, right? So if you come up with your next stablecoin tomorrow, you would want to have all the lessons learned of the existing stablecoins. You would want to not repeat the same mistakes, right? It's definitely fine to do a mistake, but we should certainly try to not repeat past mistakes. So it's not always clear whether the economic incentives are as clear as they are on paper, right? And overall, the stability of stablecoins remains an open research field. So thank you so much for your attention. I hope this lecture on stablecoins was helpful. I I very much hope you will go into the more nitty gritty details of the UST collapse, and we can hopefully discuss it then in the AMA lecture. Thank you so much.